Is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and before we get into this video, I just wanted to ask you to please subscribe if you have not already. I put out new Storybook Brawl videos every day at 9:30 p.m. EST, so if you like what you see and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I am also a pretty small channel, so I do pay a lot of attention to the comments and the likes, so if you want to give me some additional feedback there, I will know what you guys like to see. Enjoy the video. Today and tomorrow, I am going to be uploading a pair of Snow Angel Court Wizard games. And unfortunately, we don't have any good units to make use of in this shop, but this is going to be a pretty good Snow Angel game. Like I said, both in this video and in the video that I'm uploading tomorrow. Both of them were played in relatively short periods from each other. I think they were played like a day apart about a month ago. And in both of the games, I am able to really make Snow Angel work with some court wizards. And unfortunately, this game is really delaying the start that we get with the Snow Angel, and it shouldn't be that big of a problem. We're going to be playing up against Skip in our next combat, but it's unfortunately that we can't get the ball rolling, the snowball rolling. We can't start snowballing and getting some nice, good units to wreck our opponent's things with. I figure if I just put the Minotaur in the first position, that'll trade with whatever Skip is doing, and then I will win with the Baby Dragon, whereas if the Baby Dragon attacked first or got attacked first, then it might not have, it might have just slammed into like a Vampire and died, and then the Minotaur traded with the Vampire or something. So I figured this was the best case scenario here. But now that we aren't playing against Skip, I'm going to go ahead and put the Baby Dragon back in the first position. And we're lucky enough in this shop to finally pick up two good units, and they're two pretty good units. A Sherwood Sure Shot and a Frog Prince are going to be a nice pair to get things started here and get us back on the good path and doing good things. So that is pretty nice, and we'll see how this combat goes against fellow lobby leader Pied Piper. Pied Piper can be pretty strong in the early game. Let's see, yeah, that's pretty strong. It would have really been nice to attack first there. I think because we didn't, we are just going to lose. But had we been able to like attack the Mad Mim first and then potentially just be eating something with our Frog Prince, we could have been in a much better position. We'll buy the Frog Prince and get an Ogre Princess for free. Unfortunately, that doesn't flip the second Frog Prince, but it is still a pretty good unit. And then from there, I can like Earthquake and buy another good unit. That seems as good as anything else to me. That is going to just make it more likely that my Ogre Princess slays. And also Earthquake is just a pretty powerful spell to have access to at this point in the game. So that is looking pretty good. Hopefully the Ogre Princess can slay. Again, if that happens, I mean, it should happen. It's a 4-2 Ogre Princess, but when that does happen, if I get a good unit from that, that doesn't count for the Snow Angel, unfortunately. We do have to buy all of these good units that we want. And yeah, this is kind of an interesting game. It's actually before the buff to Book of Heroes took place, which I think is kind of interesting. And there we go. Maybe I jinxed it, but we don't get the slay there. This is before the buff to Book of Heroes took place, and we're going to make pretty decent use of the Book of Heroes here as we pick up Lonely Prince. I forget what my other options were. Piggy Bank is fine, Needle Nose Dagger's also fine, but Book of Heroes when you're playing Snow Angel is just so much more tempting, and we're up against Pan's Shadow, so we know they're going to have some evil units. I actually rather like the Rootworm here might sell something to be able to put... I'd have to sell two things, but I could sell 2 things, and then I could put a root worm on the ogre princess. I feel like that's probably worth it. All right, and I agree with myself. I will have to play a unit down, so I guess I'm just figuring out which unit down I would like to do. And I think it should just be the baby dragon. Yeah, there we go. And then I'll rootworm there. And honestly, I feel like frontline minotaur, backline peep is good. I guess any of these things are fine, but I'm just thinking that way it's more likely that the Sherwood Sure Shot can stick around and get some nice attacks in. But yeah, it's some interesting decision points there. The peep is going to get attacked, so I do get punished, but we do get our first few Book of Heroes triggers here, and what I was going to say is, yeah, like, you can look at the lobby and kind of figure out if Book of Heroes is going to be good in a given game. We do get some nice triggers, so that's cool, but we are going to take some damage here, but honestly, I mean, I'll take it. We got like +3/+3 on various minions and units throughout that fight. Do I want a donkey pair as well? I guess I will. I guess I'll take it. And I could sell 1 thing and buy the unicorn, and then that gives me an additional unit for free as well off of my hero power, and that gives me Good Witch of the North. That actually seems pretty sweet. And then I will figure out a way to put Sherwood Sure Shot back into this. But I like that. That's going to really allow my ogre princesses to slay. I might put this potion on my second ogre prince, so it is just more likely to slay. And now we are up against Beauty, and this is the old Beauty. Awkwardly, it is actually better for us with Book of Heroes. I think Book of Heroes works really well against the new Beauty, as weird as that is. But the old Beauty changed monsters into good and gave them +2/+2, which made it harder to kill them as well. But now it just says that all of your evil things function as good, and effects that say good mean evil or something like that. I don't know the exact wording, but I think because of that exact wording, if you Book of Heroes against a Beauty, it actually gives you the triggers. We are going to get 1 trigger there on the Ogre Princess, but their backline units are just considered good, and thus my Book of Heroes is not going to work on them. We will pop their secret stash, so that is pretty cool, and they were the lobby leader as well, and now we are playing up against the last place person in the lobby, so a pretty big disparity there. Wonder what I'm looking for here. The Prince Arthur, just selling those dwarves that I just got for Econ. I like the Fairy Godmother decently too. It can work well with like the donkeys and things. And oh, am I going for the Riverwash Mermaid? That's pretty interesting. I did just buy 3 good units though, and that is going to mean that we get a Court Wizard for free here. So that is the sweetest part out of all of this. And we just have a bunch of princes and princesses right now. So that is also pretty sweet, and that is going to give us our first Court Wizard of the day. And like I said, there are going to be a bunch of Court Wizards in this video, and then also the video that I get tomorrow. But this video is about Book of Heroes, almost even more so than Court Wizard. I think this is almost just a Book of Heroes video, whereas tomorrow is like really a Court Wizard game. It's definitely pushing the limits of what makes a good Court Wizard game. I do kind of like this setup. I would like to triple these Ogre Princesses just to start giving them Arthur buffs, and I would love to put the Sherwood Sure Shot in there too, just because it works so well with the Court Wizard, but unfortunately this is what we got. But the Book of Heroes definitely doing some work here, as my opponent has a bunch of evil units. We get our first trigger onto Court Wizard, and getting those triggers onto Court Wizard, they just mean so much, and it would be awesome. Looks like we are going to get 1 last trigger onto Court Wizard as well, so 2 triggers onto Court Wizard in that first combat that we put it in. So you gotta be loving that. And we actually get another Court Wizard off of the Ogre Princess pretty immediately. So that is pretty sweet. And if I remember correctly, yeah, I definitely want to put in this second Ogre Princess. I thought so, that I did try to grab that friendly spirit just because I knew that like if we could get some book triggers on that, that would be really sweet. Then we see in Arthur, we see 2 pairs here. This is really tempting to lock, especially in the comp that I've built, because level 5 really doesn't have the best units for me. It's got like Baby Bear and Lancelot are like the good level 5 units. And I don't even know, I'm sure there's another one. Oh, Cupid. Yeah, it's not really these things that work that great. But there's a bunch of stuff on level 4 that you want. So going to be locking this here, and then I throw in the friendly spirit. I think I probably could have even just played like the Sherwood Sure Shot or something like that up in the front. That might have been a little bit better for us. And just gave us more opportunities to play the Court Wizard. I did think about it. You see, I did think about it there for a second. But wow, my opponent has a huge Lancelot here. That is really scary, and they don't really have much else going on, but they also have an upgraded Prince Arthur. So this is going to be really scary for us. I think we're going to take a ton of damage here. These Court Wizards are going to do at least a little bit of work. So that's nice. We should be able to, after getting rid of this creeper, at least deal with my opponent's front line. So we're only going to take 10 here, which honestly feels not that bad. It still means that we're pretty high up on the leaderboard to the side there. I'm still going to try to make Prince Arthur work, even though one of my opponents is taking all the Prince Arthurs themselves. I thought I had to sneeze. It might come. It might come in a second. But we throw a Merlin's Test on a Court Wizard. That is a spell that I really like on the Court Wizards. And then we've got 3 different pairs. So I'd love to upgrade one of these pairs here. But we're out of gold for the current turn. And hopefully this Merlin's Test will bear some fruit against Skip the Time Skipper. And hopefully we can grow some of these Court Wizards as well. Interestingly, we actually got both of these Court Wizards for free, right? We have not had the opportunity to purchase a Court Wizard yet, nor have we purchased a Court Wizard, because we got one from our Hero Power and one from our Ogre Princess. Yeah, that's kind of interesting that we have not actually purchased them ourselves, and doesn't look like my opponent has too much in the way of evil units, but we will be able to try to wreak some havoc with these Court Wizards, and they will be allowing us to possibly... I was thinking if both of our things go to the broccoli, we could get a trigger here, but that's going to wind up being a little bit awkward for us here as we wind up taking 7 damage from Skip the Time Skipper and lose our Merlin's Test as well. So kind of annoying. Might as well buy the 9 Sea Terror because it is free, and we could potentially get a level 5 treasure from that. That would be kind of cool. The end is kind of tempting. I don't know where I'd put it. I guess on the Friendly Spirit. Do I go? Oh, wow, I put it on the Sea Terror. That's kind of crazy. I probably should have just done it on the Friendly Spirit there, but no matter. We'll just do it on the Sea Terror and gain 5 life. 5 life gain could actually be really relevant. Then I see a Court Wizard, and it's the first time that I can actually purchase a Court Wizard, so I am going to go ahead and do so, mainly because I think there's just a lot of good treasures that go on it. And the other thing I'm thinking is an upgraded Court Wizard is just so much more likely to slay, at which point you are actually getting triggers for your Book of Heroes, which I do think is somewhat important here as well. Yeah, definitely kind of awkward to position these units because I want to put Court Wizard more towards the front, but I do want my units to start scaling and getting a little bit bigger because all we have is this Book of Heroes. So we're definitely falling a little bit farther behind this game, but we are going to get some Book of Heroes triggers this turn off our Ogre Princess and maybe potentially an Arthur or something too. Oh, or the Court Wizard? No, not the Court Wizard. I would never be so lucky. We are just going to have some of our units die, and I guess actually luckily for me, some of those backlined wizards get attacked, or Riverwash Mermaids get attacked there. But we're going to continue to take damage here, take 9, drop down to 13, and it's not looking super hot for us here. We are playing against the last place person in the lobby though, so this turn could give us some reprieve here. It's awkward when you are fighting for Arthurs against somebody else in the lobby because that has just made it so difficult for us to pick up any Arthurs. And now I'm level 6 and I really have to find a way to transition this comp into something that's like actually powerful and actually good. Ring of Rage, I guess I will take for now. That adds a little bit more power to the board for us. And let's see, after a few more rolls, am I going to get anything else this turn? Sherwood Sure Shot ain't bad. I think I should take it, but I keep on rolling past it. And yeah, that doesn't really do anything good for us. I guess I'll just cast a potion on the Ogre Princess. Definitely there looking for Good Boy, potentially looking for like Hercules, and then looking for doubles on one of the units that we have a pair of, because we've got a few pairs. Now, luckily Wonder Waddle isn't too powerful here. We're level 6, but we also power leveled twice, so that's part of the reason for that too. And let's see if Court Wizard can do his thing. It looks like I will be able to get one Book of Heroes Slay, and then we'll trade there. The Court Wizard will get another Book of Heroes Slay, and then finish off the Lady of the Lake. And then I also get the treasure cache, I think it's called, and get another +3/+3 on the Court Wizard. So we've made a decently sized Court Wizard, and that's pretty sweet. And then we do wind up finding the Good Boy here, so that is potentially going to give us some more stats as well. I think I should be buying this Robin Wood, but it looks like I am going to roll past it, and it works out because we find another Good Boy and a totally blanking on the name of this upgrade spell right now. Don't know why it isn't coming to me, but the Knighthood in the shop here is going to be pretty sweet. So I'm definitely going to want to upgrade or lock this Knighthood. There's also a Court Wizard here. So next turn I could Knighthood this... or I could purchase this Knighthood and then lock the, what am I saying here? Purchase the Knighthood and then potentially sell some things to buy the Court Wizard. I was just trying to think of what I was thinking of at the time and trying to come up with the best play as well while I was doing this commentary, because there's some interesting things here, like if we could get a Good Boy to slay, then it's getting a Riverwash Mermaid buff, plus it is getting a buff from the Book of Heroes, so all of that could be pretty sweet. And we are going to get a few book triggers on this turn. We could almost get the Survival Cache to go onto the Good Boy, but it is going to go onto the Prince Arthur. But no matter, we are going to Knighthood our Good Boy, and then I could sell, basically I could sell my whole bench here and buy a Court Wizard, and that is probably worthwhile. Just have to think about exactly what I want to sell and how I want to do this. The Riverwash Mermaid is also still pretty interesting because it could potentially buff the Good Boy, but how do you make this work? I've got to sell 3 things. basically this is what I was thinking about. This is why my commentary kind of petered out on that last combat. Oh, I could try to have the friendly spirit get the slay, sell the Prince Arthur's, cut the Ogre Princess. But the Ogre Princess is good too because it's a princess, and that will allow both of our court wizards to attack. So I like that. I think I would like to cut the friendly spirit and just play as many princes and princesses as I could. I understand that it's tempting to have those good boy hits land on the friendly spirit, but I think my front line should be good boy, Ogre Princess, Frog Prince, and then my back line I think should be Court Wizard, River Wash, Court Wizard. So that way this good boy, because this second good boy I think can actually slay. And if we look at this turn, yeah, it would have slayed. So definitely a little bit of a mistake there that's going to cost us some power on that second good boy. But we should still be pretty strong here with the Court Wizards and able to deal some damage to Skip and get a little bit of a trigger on Court Wizard there. I am going to go for the Dream. What am I looking for here? Okay, well, Horde Dragon would be pretty sweet. We've got one good boy, but I go for the Mask. So that's pretty interesting. Like I said, these games are about a month old. I'm not going to agree with all of my plays as far as optimizing and things like that in the late game. Another Court Wizard, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I also don't know if before I dreamed, should I have just purchased a good unit so that way I could have, if I purchased a good unit, I could have gotten a free unit from my hero power one last time before I rolled off of it. Here we're kind of like, it's awkward that we're not able to pick up this upgraded Ogre Princess, but I'm not sure that really would have been super great for us here anyways. But hopefully these Court Wizards can get some triggers. We're up against Beauty though, which probably means they're not going to get any triggers this turn, unfortunately. An upgraded Good Boy is still like a pretty good comp. And the fact that all of our backline units are ranged, I think, is also helpful too. I think that like Sherwood Sure Shot will definitely be something that we'd like to put in if we can grab it. And we'll see if we are able to make that happen. But we're going to get our first set of Court Wizard triggers here, and everything is going to go in. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, and then we're going to be able to take out Beauty. Yeah, it's pretty cool to just like, okay, we get one Court Wizard trigger and then it's 3 different attacks for 50. And we see another good boy here, and we see a Evil Twin. So if we sell both of our benched units, we actually have enough to buy the good boy plus the Evil Twin. Oh, we actually have the Princess Peep too, so we could hang on to the River Wash Mermaid or something. But that is going to let us get an upgraded good boy, and it'll be an evil good boy, which does have some awkward interactions. But the good news of that is like it won't work with Book of Heroes and it won't pump the other one. But the good news is it'll give us a level 6 treasure. And Spear of Achilles is a really good treasure to have with Good Boy and with Court Wizards, and you will see that interaction in the video tomorrow. This looks really powerful. This is looking really good though now, because Good Boy is going to attack for 14, then it's going to give plus 28 to everything. The second Good Boy will then be 35. It will attack for 42 and give plus 84 to everything. So at that point, all of the Court Wizards are over 100, and should my opponent be able to take down my front line, you've got 300 damage coming at you. So that seems pretty sweet if everything can go according to plan, and maybe I can even find some more stats in these dreams. Not exactly sure what I'll want to go for with those, but yeah, this is looking pretty powerful. We don't get the first attack, but we do get the second attack, so that's 58 power on everything else here. All that's pretty sweet. We're going to trigger our own Court Wizards. That is hilarious. Court Wizard kills my Ogre Princess, and then all my Court Wizards say, wait, oh, Princess down, man the troops. And then all the Court Wizards go at it. So there you go. That was a pretty good combat and a pretty good showcase of Court Wizard. We do finally get rid of our Book of Heroes, though, and I'm going to go for the Dream first. I think that's probably a bad play, especially because it's the finals. I should at least roll, but I guess partially what I'm thinking is maybe my hero could impact my decision of what I'm going to do for the rest of combat, but then I'm not able to pick up this Evil Twin. Not sure that I would have, to be totally honest. I don't actually know if that is the right play, but I can't do it nonetheless. Hercules is an interesting thing there to look at. I think it might have actually been worth it. I also think the lands could have been worth it, and I definitely think that Robin Hood could have been really good there as well. Nothing really that I can do with that knighthood, but we'll see. There is something cool here with the this guy's name's Mordred, is that right? Yeah, Mordred with the good boys. Basically, the way that the triggers will work is the good boy will attack for 14 and then die, and then the friendly spirit will spawn, and the friendly spirit will get the plus 28. So in this case, it only gets plus whatever it was, like 20 or something, because the good boy never got to attack, and our good boys keep getting sniped here. But luckily our Court Wizards are still able to put in some work. Lancelot survives with 1 health, so that is super awkward. That's going to mean that our Ogre Princess has to attack, and I think that we're still pretty strong here, but our opponent is going to beat us on this combat. And we're going to take a little bit of damage here too. We're going to take 12, right? And go down to 1. So hey, 1 isn't 0. We will stay in it. And we actually get a Sherwood Sure Shot for free. Again, I cast the Dream immediately, and I think that that was short-sighted. I'm going to take Loki here, but this actually doesn't really work. Loki won't work for this combat, because I wasn't Loki at the start of the turn. So, yeah, I basically just threw away the Dream spell there, and at least if I was like Zelhua, then maybe I could have purchased something on the cheap. I'm going to go with a Cupid because I want to try to snag my opponent's Echo Wood. But this also winds up being a pretty big mistake here because I really want these good boys to attack, and then I really want to have some princes and princesses to get in there as well. I am going to put the Sherwood Sure Shot in there, and I do think that this is good if that's the front line that I want to run, but I don't think that is the front line that I should be running. But my good boy is going to get in and deliver some stats to his friend, but unfortunately, it's just not enough stats here. It is just enough that the Frog Princess survives, and that is going to allow my Court Wizards to trigger, but they are unfortunately going to get their attacks mixed up. If they had attacked the other way, I would have cleared the Jormungand, and then I'd be attacking their backline right now, but yeah, this just wound up being super awkward, and honestly, like, I got so close. If that combat went a little bit different for me, or to be honest, if I had positioned for that last combat a little bit better, we would have been able to win this one, because I wound up leaving my opponent's Echo Wood there with like 30 HP, so that was really close. But also, if that 150-50 went the other way, I also would have won the combat. So I did still think that this was a sweet video, and I wanted to showcase it regardless, even though I got the second place. And I've been thinking about, like, it's good to put some second place videos up on the channel, because that will kind of add to the drama, I think, a little bit more, and keep you guys on your toes so you don't know when you start to watch a video that just, oh, obviously NoLucksGiven is going to win this one because he uploaded it. But this one was still pretty dang close to a win. I think could have tightened up some of my play at the end there. But that's what you get with some of the commentary on these month-old videos. I can always look back on them and say, oh, NoLucksGiven from October. So silly. Such a young man not knowing what he's doing there. Yeah, still a really sweet Court Wizard video. And tomorrow, I'm going to see if I can tighten up my play a little bit. I've gotten a little bit older. Like I said, I think the video that I'm going to showcase tomorrow, I recorded like 2 days after this one. Like the game took place like 2 days after, maybe even only a day. So it was really like the same time frame. But in that video, I really get some nice interactions with Court Wizards, and it's one of the best Court Wizard comps that you can really put together. So that one's going to be sweet. Look forward to that one tomorrow, and that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.